They promised the parents last year that they would come to us when they changed their policy. They have not come to the parents, and they're going to change a policy without being honest.
What's the primary fear of this policy being enacted?
There's no fear. The concern is that children, their policy on gender identity might impact teachers too. So if there's a man who becomes a woman, and he's a teacher, you can't remove that teacher from the classroom. It changes the safe spaces in the bathrooms. Girls have a right to a safe space.
Now, I don't know what people think happens in a bathroom besides the purpose for which it was intended, yet misconduct seems to be the first place the minds some people go when it comes to bathrooms. I have no idea why.
If a girl, for instance, was uncomfortable with a biological male who is transgendered who's in a girl's locker room, what should be done to accommodate that young lady?
Just like trans students, she should be able to use a separate changing facility. Trans students have been doing that for years, and that's one of the major accommodations that happens for trans students.
So why don't we just keep it that way?
Because not everyone wants to do that.
But just as we learned that skin color should not affect whether or not someone's equal, neither should being male or female, neither should their gender expression.
With what happened, we had Jim Crow, we had segregation, we had a terrible situation. It's the same thing. There's always, my only dog in this fight.
You think that biological boys being able to use the girls' locker room is comparable to segregation?
In a way...
Don't you think that would be offensive to people who fought for segregation, the fact that you said that? He brought it up.
I do understand that most people are fearful, and that is because of ignorance, not bigotry necessarily. It is ignorance, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, lack of exposure to other transgender individuals, and that makes people fearful, no different than people were fearful of black people going into white bathrooms back in the 60s.
Your son going to college soon?
Yes.
Are you fearful that if he is in a locker room, he's in a bathroom, somebody knows that he is transgendered, that they may bully him, that they may hurt him physically?
Absolutely. There are millions and millions of transgender people that are brutally murdered every day in this country. Every hour in the hour, they are brutally beaten and killed.
But you think the situation
because
will make that better?
of lack of education?
I don't like to call anybody necessarily bigoted. I think they may be scared. They may be ignorant.
Are they anti-LGBT just because they oppose this policy?
I don't know.
My whole life I've kind of been waiting for this to happen. It's been real rough.
You've been waiting your whole life to be able to use the girls' room?
No, I have been waiting my whole life to be, receive protections.
That young man that was here, he looks like you. If he goes into the men's room, how does that affect you?
Well, no,
Does that bother you?
I'm using more locker rooms as an example, because that's a whole nother ballgame. If someone opposes girls and boys in locker rooms, biological boys and biological girls in the same locker room, does that make them anti-LGBT or bigoted?
In my opinion, any active opposition of extending
Anything
rights,
the LGBT community wants is bigoted?
no. Actively opposing and trying to restrict our rights is
From our friends over at MRC-TV.
MRC-TV.org.
Our buddies at the Media Research Center sent one of their reporters down there, and he went around and asked them a simple question.